Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show, where today's headlines are packed with major international and domestic developments. First up, the Trump administration has taken a surprising turn by revoking the terrorism designation of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a group linked to Syria's new president. This move aims to help Syria reconnect with the world and rebuild after years of civil war, signaling a shift towards diplomacy and easing sanctions, although some restrictions related to human rights still remain. Next, in the world of influence and power, Elon Musk is stirring the pot by criticizing Donald Trump and threatening to create a new political party. With his vast wealth and social media reach, Musk's influence on GOP politics is significant, but his recent actions could also backfire, risking his reputation and business ties. It's a fascinating clash of titans, where wealth, influence, and ambition collide. Finally, in Texas, a devastating flood has claimed the lives of 27 children and staff at Camp Mystic, a historic summer camp. Severe weather and staffing shortages at the National Weather Service may have played a role in the tragedy, prompting calls for investigation. The region remains on high alert as more storms threaten, reminding us how powerful and unpredictable nature can be. Please continue to stay tuned for more detailed coverage of these stories, right here on Trump Briefing. The Toronto Star reports that the Trump administration has recently reversed its decision to designate the al-Nusra Front, also known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, as a foreign terrorist organization. This move signifies a shift towards engaging with Syria's new transitional government, which emerged after Bashar Assad's ousting last year. The revocation, announced quietly in the Federal Register, aims to facilitate Syria's reintegration into the international community and bolster its efforts to recover from over a decade of civil war. While the designation was initially due to al-Nusra's ties to al-Qaeda, the group's rebranding and the broader easing of sanctions reflect a strategic pivot by the U.S., which seeks to reduce Syria's isolation and support the fledgling government's rebuilding efforts. However, key sanctions targeting Assad and his associates remain in place, emphasizing a nuanced approach to diplomacy and economic policy. Meanwhile, The Independent explores the escalating feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, highlighting how Musk's influence and resources could be wielded as political weapons. Former associate Philip Lowe predicts Musk will do everything possible to undermine Trump, and the billionaire's recent public attacks on Trump's policies have intensified this rivalry. Musk's vast wealth, estimated at over $400 billion, along with his political donations, social media dominance, and loyal supporter base, give him significant leverage. He could fund political campaigns, create new parties, or sway public opinion through his ownership of X, formerly Twitter, shaping the narrative among conservative voters. Musk's international reach through SpaceX, Starlink, and his relationships with China further amplify his influence, making him a formidable player in the political arena, capable of impacting elections and policy debates across borders. The article also details Musk's potential strategies to challenge Trump directly, from mobilizing financial resources to leveraging his online following. With the ability to fund campaigns or manipulate social media discourse, Musk could challenge Trump's dominance within the Republican Party and influence the broader political landscape. Despite his declining popularity among Democrats and the general public, Musk's ability to rally a dedicated base and utilize his technological assets positions him as a disruptive force. The article underscores that Musk's power extends beyond national borders, touching space exploration, global satellite networks, and international diplomacy. Yet, the rivalry also carries risks, revenge, misinformation, or political fallout, highlighting the unpredictable nature of Musk's ambitions to reshape the American political scene. The South China Morning Post vividly captures the tense silence of BRICS leaders amid U.S. President Donald Trump's provocative tariff threats. Despite Trump's announcement of an additional 10% tariff on imports from BRICS nations, the leaders remained publicly unresponsive, exemplifying a cautious diplomatic stance. Russia's Dmitry Peskov acknowledged Trump's remarks, while China's foreign ministry emphasized that BRICS is not a confrontational bloc targeting any country, underscoring a collective desire to avoid escalation. The leaders' declaration condemned unilateral tariffs and protectionism, subtly criticizing U.S. policies without direct confrontation, even as the U.S. escalated its rhetoric, threatening to impose 100% tariffs over the group's push for de-dollarization. The summit also saw BRICS expanding its membership, with new members like Iran and Ethiopia, and engaging in discussions about reducing dependence on the U.S. dollar, signaling a strategic shift towards greater economic independence amid U.S. tensions. Meanwhile, Yahoo U.S. reports on the aftermath of catastrophic flooding in central Texas, where the National Weather Service faces scrutiny over staffing cuts that may have hampered disaster response. Senator Chuck Schumer called for an investigation into weather vacancies at the San Antonio office, notably the retirement of warning coordinator Paul Ura, contributed to delayed or diminished flood warnings. Despite the NWS defending its forecasting efforts, critics argue that the reduced staffing and recent resignations compromised public safety, evidenced by at least 78 fatalities, including 28 children. President Trump dismissed concerns, claiming that federal cuts did not affect disaster response, but the tragedy highlights ongoing debates about government austerity measures and their real-world impacts on emergency preparedness. The Toronto Star highlights a sobering reality: the health of American children has been steadily declining over nearly 2 decades. A comprehensive new study reveals rising obesity rates, increased prevalence of chronic conditions like anxiety and depression, and higher mortality rates compared to other high-income countries. The findings paint a grim picture of deteriorating physical and mental health, with early puberty, sleep issues, and loneliness becoming more common among youth. Experts warn that current policies, including cuts to health agencies and research, threaten to exacerbate these trends. Dr. Forrest emphasizes that children serve as a mirror reflecting broader societal vulnerabilities, with the study underscoring urgent need for systemic change to reverse this troubling trajectory before more irreversible damage occurs. The Toronto Star reports that amidst the ongoing global trade negotiations, Canada remains unscathed by the looming tariff deadline set by President Donald Trump, who has been actively seeking new trade deals with multiple countries. While Trump has announced plans to send letters to up to 15 nations threatened by his Liberation Day duties, Canada is notably excluded from these tariffs and has committed to negotiating a bilateral agreement with the U.S. by July 21. Despite the president's aggressive stance since April, the only tangible progress has been limited frameworks with 2 countries, leaving Canada's trade position relatively stable as the deadline approaches, highlighting a cautious optimism in Canadian-U.S. relations. Deutsche Welle vividly captures the tragic aftermath of the catastrophic Texas floods, where the relentless Guadalupe River transformed into a deadly torrent, claiming the lives of 27 campers and counselors at Camp Mystic, a historic Christian girls' retreat. The floodwaters, swollen by torrential rains, reached treetops and cabin roofs, washing away children in the darkness and leaving scenes of devastation along Kerrville's riverfront, where 68 lives, including 28 children, were lost. As more rain threatens to trigger additional flash floods, local authorities and first responders continue their desperate search for the missing, while the community mourns and grapples with the scale of the disaster amid warnings of further danger from unpredictable thunderstorms. Yahoo US details the renewed role of Carla Hayden, the former Librarian of Congress, who was abruptly dismissed by President Trump amid political controversy. Now a senior fellow at the Mellon Foundation, Hayden aims to bolster public access to knowledge through libraries and archives, advocating for the preservation and democratization of information during a time of federal funding cuts and censorship threats. Her appointment signals a resilient push to defend cultural institutions' role in fostering human progress, especially as the Mellon Foundation faces its own challenges, including a $15 million emergency fund to support arts and cultural programs impacted by federal austerity. Hayden's leadership, marked by modernization efforts at the Library of Congress and her advocacy for inclusive access, underscores her commitment to safeguarding the nation's cultural and intellectual heritage against ongoing threats. According to Yahoo US, Legoland Florida has recently enhanced its Miniland USA section by adding a meticulously crafted replica of the U.S. Capitol, constructed with 381,000 Lego bricks and featuring detailed architectural elements, lighting, and lamp posts, all completed in 1,500 hours by master model builders. This new addition is part of the park's broader display of iconic landmarks, including the White House, Smithsonian, and Washington Monument. The park also showcases recreations of New York City, California, Las Vegas, and various Florida scenes, such as Daytona Speedway and Kennedy Space Center. To celebrate, Legoland Florida is offering extended ticket deals through July 13, including options for single-day or multi-park visits, with add-ons like the Sea Life Florida Aquarium and hotel packages. Meanwhile, Disney has reopened its Hall of Presidents exhibit, with Donald Trump once again positioned prominently at the forefront, signaling a return to normalcy and continued engagement with patriotic displays. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6do Brief via email.
News breaks, buzz the ground, stories spin, walls come down, voices merge in the sound, faces mix in the crowd. Broadcasters paint the scene, world events on our screen, every link a different theme, words collide in the stream. 6 degrees connect the dots, background stories more than us. Hear the voices rise aloft, truth unveils in every spot. Cultures clash across the globe, spin the threads in a strobe. Every story wears a robe, truth and lies in their code. Journalists dig real deep, secrets out, they don't sleep. Every angle they will keep, in the news we take a leap. New perspectives day by day, hidden truths come to play. In the background shades of gray, every story finds its way. New perspectives day by day.